Hi, I'm Rebecca Brand, and today we're going to make a sous vide tri-tip. You can use any cuts you want, but this week when I went to the grocery store, this was on sale for $3.99 a pound, which made it very inexpensive to feed my family and also to make a lot of leftovers for later. I bought a few because you can freeze them as well. The ingredients for this recipe are just your tri-tip or roast, salt, and I'm going to spruce it up at the end with a seasoning blend I make. This is a method to make the most tender roasts anywhere in the world. Professional chefs have done this for years in restaurants, and now we're doing it in our home kitchens. Flexion sponsored this video, and I'm so glad they did. This is a basic classic recipe that's going to get you a very tender tri-tip. We're going to get to the finish line fast in this video by putting 1 tablespoon of salt on our roast. This is going to brine it while it's cooking in its own juices for a long time with the sous vide. So sprinkle half a tablespoon on one side and then the other half on the other side and rub it in. You can add a spice rub or you can add pepper, but that's the quickest way to get it started, and this works every time. Just lay it in, and we'll save the zipping up for the water. I add warm water to a big container. I have this plastic container, but you might use just a big pot that you have for making soups. Flexion has this great clamp. It's really sturdy and it works well. It works like a vice grip. So I just twist it on to my container till it's tight. That's really strong. Nothing's gonna happen to that. We wanna get all the air out of our zippy bag, so I'm lowering it slowly to get all the air out. Check this out. Down she goes. And I'm going to flatten it out to get all that air out. So the zipper part is right above the water. And I carefully align it and then zippy it closed. You know you've done a good job getting the air out when all the meat is floating in the water like that. That's going to allow the water to get all around and make it cook at a very even temperature. The cooking range for beef is 122 for rare to 156 for well done. At the end of the video, you'll see the whole chart. I want mine medium rare, so I'm going to set it at 129. So press your temperature button and then spin the wheel until you get the degree you want. So I want 129 because that's medium rare for me. So push them down to hold it at that degree. I'm making this in the morning, so in the evening, my roast is perfect. So I'm setting the timer for 8 hours. So we roll the clock to 8. And then you press them down to book it. If you wanted minutes, you would have pressed the clock twice, and then you can have exact minutes. The sous vide in my household has replaced the crock pot because I would rather come home to a perfectly done roast than a pot of a beef that would be overcooked. This is going to be amazing. And press it on. You'll hear it hum. That means it's working. So set it and forget it. It's been 8 hours. It's ready, Freddy. I'm going to save these juices so I have a pot to pour the juices in. So hold the roast by your hands and aim, shoot, and fire. I'm going to cook that on low later. So put your roast on a cutting board and I'm going to pat it dry. Now, since that fat is soft, this is the time I'm just going to trim it a little bit. It always seems to come with a little flap, so if there's something undesirable on your roast, now's the time to take it off. Look how easy that peels back. That's amazing. And that goes in the trash. It's great to have the fat be about 1/8 inch on your roast. This is a little heavier than that, but that's okay. I'm satisfied. So turn your broil feature on high because that's how we're going to finish this to give it a nice sear. And then put your juices on the stove, and we're going to put that on low to heat it up and finish cooking them so they're thoroughly cooked and they're not so red. Now we're going to pat dry our roast and put our seasoning all over it. The reason I'm patting it dry is I want that seasoning to stick. I want it to really crisp up. So if you had water on it, it kind of boils off before it crisps up. And that's trouble because we want to get to the finish line fast without touching any of the perfectly rare inside we got with our Flexion sous vide stick. For a crispier crust, I add a little olive oil. You don't need this really because it has a lot of fat on it, but I just think it looks prettier if I put the olive oil. Then I add the spice rub. This spice rub is found on my channel under Spice Rubs. It's got a lot of cayenne in it for a kick, celery salt, garlic powder. You can use one out of a jar though that's already made for you. Anything is fine. Now the other side. And drizzle, 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 drool. It's time to go to cooking school. Oh yeah, that even smells great right now. Here's for the spices. Avalanche, whee! Cooking can be messy. I like to have fun in the kitchen, and being messy can be kind of fun. And load her into a cast iron skillet. She's good to go, or a baking sheet. And under the broiler goes your big piece of meat. Set the timer for 5 minutes. Otherwise, you could have flames. There's the juices of cooking. Stir them up a little bit. And at the end, we can skim off any kind of foam. That looks unappetizing. Put her down real low now. She's ready. It's been 3 minutes. Let's check it. Oh, glad I did. That's good enough for me. I'm going to flip it now. I'm using tongs and a spatula for the 2 assist method. In she goes for another 3 minutes. Now whisk up those juices with some bouillon. I'm using beef bouillon. Now look at that. Delicious. Woohoo! We got steak tonight. Woo! I also made my famous microwave potatoes because that's going to be great on the side dish, and it's so fast. This is a great meal to serve your family. It's one pot. If you just shove over your tri-tip in a big skillet. Everything's better with butter, and lots of it. So be generous with yourself and others. Oh, and how about a little chopped green onion on top? Yum. But of course, the proof is in the pudding, so let's slice her up. You need to let her rest about 5 minutes, but she has been. You cut her against the grain if it's a roast. Oh yeah, look at how tender that is. That is slicing like butter. Wow, that has cooked for 8 hours at 129 degrees. And that is what a perfectly medium rare from edge to edge will bring you. It's all the way up to the sides. There's no brown at the sides. Can you hear the crispy exterior? Somebody's going to want that bite. Time for this mousie to have a bite of the treat. And a little drizzle of the sauce. Look at the movement of that beef. That's how you tell it is so tender. Okay, I'm out. That's the bomb. You and your family and every sandwich hereafter is going to love the cooking method of a sous vide. So click the link below and get your Flexion sous vide cooker. It's amazing and it'll change the way you cook forever because it's so darn easy and so delicious. I'm Rebecca Rem. Subscribe to my channel and let's keep making great things in the kitchen like a sous vide tri-tip roast, a recipe for a lifetime.